My name is Rhapsody and welcome back to the long exploration in the Serpent Temple here in Curse of the Dead Gods. We are very much going to be trying to do a kind of similar thing to what we did last time, but this time, how about we do it a little bit more successfully? With a little bit more information about the final boss in this area, I think we could. Alright, still need to get some gold early. Just a little bit at least. I'm still going to be running with the same blessings at the moment. I don't really want to make any additions or subtractions yet. At the very least, I just want one run where I have two relics that both say plus 6% damage for each 1,000 gold that you're holding up to a stack of 10, and have 10,000 gold for the plus 120% damage. Seems pretty good, right? I just want to get that once and then I can move on. Although, you know, as soon as I get that once, that's going to be proof of concept of the fact that that works, and then I'm never going to move on. Oh, I'm aware of my own patterns. Alright. Easy Plaguebringer. I will actually try and focus on the Plaguebringers first. While able here. Go. Just because they can be some of the most annoying ones. Gold offerings remove 5 corruption. Well, we're not really going to be gold offering for a while yet, at least. Because we've got to save that money. I mean, there's no secret down in that corner. So what, if we go out this way, we just get one extra room we get to complete? It's this one. Oh, right, and it's an extra room with an extra chest, actually. Okay, so this is actually super valuable. Love it. Alright. Ooh, a spear as well. And it's for each kill restoring an extra stamina. Gotta love that. Two. Come on. Ah. You gotta love it when you get the vermin, they're called, right? You gotta love it when you get the vermin to kill the Plaguebringer that summoned them. Feels poetic, in a way. I'm just gonna blow that up just so it's easier and safer for me to make my way around the corner there. Nice. Almost 1k by the end of the first room. That's a pretty good first room. Not only almost 1k, but also 10 stacks on the greed kill counter. Ah, damn it! I saw it. As soon as it was approaching, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to roll. Otherwise, I'm gonna miss one of these. And unfortunately, it just ended up rolling way too early due to it. Yeah, that's what I was being careful of. I didn't want to come up too far and get hit by that trap. Alright, let's go out this way, because I know that this is to a challenge room, right? No? This is just a normal room. I've lied to myself. Okay. Whoa! Whoo! Nice shots from that trap right there. Alright, you've got a fire. Ah, actually, hang on. Thanks to a comment in the last episode, I now know that the secret technique for possibly getting the weapon of the first boss is to have them on fire. So, for that reason in particular, I'm going to keep my fire pistol here just to see if I can possibly get that. Seems like it'd be nice. I do really, really tend to enjoy using those champion weapons. They're super unique. Just makes them very exciting to use. Alright. Easy room. Gotta wait for the... Excuse me. The enemies to be hittable That's what I was going to say. Oh, what a great room right there. Simple as heck, and slice through all of them with a with a weapon that has kind of a thrusting attack as well. Still managing to get the whole team down at the same time is pretty good. All right, I'll go for a final gold because I really don't like getting my first weapon. That is to say, my first weapon shot, not my first weapon. But I really don't like getting my first weapon right before the boss. If you're wondering why, it's because I don't want to buy a weapon that is going to be level 2 and then go to the second area and immediately the weapons on sale are level 3. Because then I spend money for a weapon to fight the boss, and then afterwards, I need to spend money to replace that weapon to fight the next boss. Especially if I can demonstrate that I can kill the first boss with the base weapon. It starts to feel like that is the best operating practice, is to do that. It also feels like that is something that I am going to want to get more accustomed to doing. Because it definitely seems like it's going to be ultimately the best thing to do overall. So I need to get some practice doing it as well. Great. So we've worked up a 10 and we've worked up a 12. Not awful. Also, thank you to those of you who pointed out that there's actually a extra damage multiplier that we get for having a higher greed kill counter. I didn't know that. That's what was affecting the Reaper dagger a while ago. Man, it's not the Reaper. What was it? The dagger that was growing. I think it was the Reaper. The dagger that was growing with each kill that I had. It was not just growing with that, but it was also growing with the greed kills, which is why it was a little inconsistent and why I couldn't necessarily track its progress well. Yeah, unfortunately lost that there because I didn't want to overcommit and get hit by the Tomb Horror. Okay. That's literally exactly the same pistol that I'm currently holding. I'd like if I had the... I would really enjoy if you found an item that was exactly the same as an item you're already holding, if they would join together and maybe just add a mod to the item that you're already holding or something like that. The game is still, like, extremely early access. You can see in the top right there, it's early access 0.19.1.6. So these kinds of features are things that may end up in the game. Yeah, unfortunately I had to lose that as well. Yeah, without the plus 200% to greed kill timers, it's a little difficult to keep up the combos, especially when... Yeah, especially when your weapon set isn't really good for attacking quickly. If we had a claw, it'd be a lot easier, but we don't. Also, by the way, when I lose a greed kill counter and I find ways to say, it's okay, it's fine, that's not me talking about whether or not it was okay to lose the greed kill counter. That's me trying to convince myself to not feel bad about having lost it. And the reason is because, I've mentioned this a bunch of times over the course of the series, in games like this, the first time I lose value that cannot be replaced, oftentimes I start to get the feeling of, well, this run's done. This run's not perfect, so it's not worth playing. This is the point where, you know, if I was playing solo, unless I'm, like, specifically trying to work against that impulse, I would just start a new run. So I'm largely in those circumstances. Okay, there we go. Ah, why'd you do that? Ow. No! Summon another bug. Summon another bug. Thank you. Kill that so the bug can come over here safely. There we go. Yes, I'm not, like, ever happy to lose my greed kill counter. I'm just trying to make sure that I don't get tilted by it. Same weapon again! Good lord. Could I please, tri-wield these weapons? Plus 100% to all healing effects is extremely impactful. This is the kind of thing that you keep the entire game long. It's not upkeep yet, but it is part of upkeep. Visions of Madness. Taking damage will cause hallucinations, as long as I keep my head about me and am not on super low HP, so I don't have to worry about, you know, what my HP stat is actually at the time. This should be okay. Okay. Again, just go through the most obscured path I can find. Unfortunately not critting on these. Okay, all good. Yeah, we get 3 back when we kill with this weapon right now. That is to say 3 stamina. Whilst handy, it's also extremely unnecessary, at the very least until... Ooh, perfect shots pierce through enemies? It's a good ranged weapon. I don't really like my current ranged weapon, so I'll happily trade it. Maybe I should change Unquenchable Thirst for something else. In particular, I'm thinking of... Whoop. Get him with the poison. No? Unfortunately, the Prophetess was just enough to heal them out of that constantly. In particular, I'm thinking of the blessing that makes weapon drops and relic drops more likely to have different modifiers on them. Seems like that in particular would be quite good. Increase max stamina by 1. That's also actually really good though. 2% base damage per 1,000 gold carried. So again, that is only going to be up to a maximum of 20% extra damage, which is still good. Actually, maybe that's just good enough. 20% no matter what weapon I'm holding. That's pretty good. Okay. Let's probably use the bow a lot here. Oh, feel free to come down the bottleneck here. If you want to do that against a bow that pierces, you're more than welcome to. Okay, no traps up to the north. Symmetrical rooms usually means, yep, enemies over here. Okay. Hold while we wait for the vermin. Easy. Enemy attacks deal less corruption or gold offerings remove. Gold offerings remove 5 corruption is actually better for us. As long as I don't get hit a bunch in the boss fight upcoming. So it takes 3 shots to get them to lethal range. 2, 3, 4. Almost got me on that one. Yeah, trap. Almost. I'm afraid I am too dexterous for you, though. Okay. Keep up the greed timer. And 1 more perfect shot for the kill. Great. Honestly, I'm still pretty pleased with how the greed timer has been going this whole time. No. That's sufficiently charged shots always trigger perfect shots, but the thing is, I can already do that. That is, if I didn't have the ability to consistently hit perfect shots myself, that would be necessary. Or helpful, at least. Charged attack, strike 3 times behind the line in a point of impact. No, I'm gonna need the bow for the boss fight. I actually would prefer that hammer right now, but the bow is gonna be pretty handy for the boss fight. I am assuming here... Oh, Bloodlust. Oh, that's really bad. We're gonna have to remove that in the boss fight. I am assuming here that... the keen bow is going to be able to pierce through the mines. Which may not be the case. That is an assumption being made on my part right there. Okay, never mind. It did pierce through. Great. It's exactly what I wanted them for, is the thing. That is to say, the keen bow. Because I know how many times my shots have been denied by not piercing. I'm gonna leave myself with 3 stam at all times. Sorry, not 3 stam. I've got to spend at most 3 stam, leave myself with 2 stam at all times. So that I can roll out of those. Okay. Easy. I love kind of just using a default weapon to bully the boss. Because as soon as you can kill a boss without taking damage with a weapon that deals very little damage, that's when you know you're confident against that boss's attack patterns, right? Because you wouldn't be able to get that kill if you weren't... almost. You wouldn't be able to get that kill flawlessly. Or near flawlessly, as the case may be. I'm not going to say necessarily that I am going to flawless here. But you wouldn't be able to get that kill near flawlessly taking that long in the fight if you didn't know how to dodge the enemy's attacks. And that is the biggest thing. If you can dodge all of the enemy's attacks, you can do 1 damage per minute and you'll still kill them eventually. Yeah, that was really bad. I tried to change to my pistol in order to start getting the fire attacks off. And it just staggered me for a second when I wasn't expecting it. Alright, they're on fire and dead. Took 1 hit. And it looks like we did get that drop as well. I will disable Bloodlust. Plus 100% base damage taken and dealt. Charged attacks cast a volley of dark projectiles. So let's have a look at this. Oh! And it's a heavy weapon! Hell yeah! Plus 80% damage in darkness, as well as scales with constitution. I'm afraid that Titan Slayer is not this weapon. What is this weapon called? Witch's Crook. Ketem Yarn Yarn. Ketem Yam Yarn. Kaet Yam Yarn. Witch's Crook. I'm gonna call it Witch's Crook, but I appreciate that they have the more phonetic names in here. Rather than just boiling everything down, you know? Yeah, let's go stats. I'm gonna need probably a main hand weapon because this is a heavy. What's its range? Okay, so it's about half a screen. Right. Ah. It is extremely powerful. And actually, it can hit enemies a ridiculous amount of times if you're up close and personal. Oh my gosh. Trying to finish him off with the dagger there wasn't terribly successful. This being a heavy weapon also means that I will always have access to extra rooms. Just if I use it correctly. Alright. And this is just, yeah, another blank room. Okay. Yeah, it's a fair hit. I am overcommitting to exclusively using the heavy attack of this at the moment. I definitely understand that. But I am also kind of doing it for the reason of trying to learn about the weapon. God, the enemy actually dodged my attack there. Rude as heck. How dare they? Alright. We get Crystal Skull. $250 max health as well as 10% damage. Gotta love it. I do need something that heals me now. We have the Chalice of Vigor still. Especially due to the taking 100% extra damage. We need something that heals us. That is one thing. Honestly, we do need to just use the basic attacks of this weapon a little more commonly as well. Because enemies do have slithers and dodges and rolls and stuff like that. Like, in all honesty, this seems like a great attack for when the map is full of enemies. But if there's only one enemy, why not just go to town normally? I'm losing my greed counter here constantly, but again, still not actually fussed about that. Abnegation! Sveltsalok's Blade. Finishes and charge attacks interrupt regular enemy attacks. Yeah, right! Screw it! Cursed run! We're all cursed here. I now need a relic that just says plus damage for cursed weapons. Actually, for that reason, I'm now going to cut out to the left, go here for... I mean, actually, we should be able to use the weapon extremely effectively in this challenge room, right? So let's set ourselves up to do so. That's really annoying. No! Enemies are just constantly getting just close enough to get me at the worst time. There we go. Also, unfortunately, I didn't remember that there is a poison pool over there, which is what initially caused me to start taking the damage, and then the mad hallucinations took it from there. Now, are each of these hits with the projectile considered a crit? Because if they are, then 10% of critical damage dealt heals you is actually the best relic I can find right now. Okay, they don't look like they are processed as a crit. No, they aren't. Well, let's go take the excess gold left in here. Honestly, as long as you're calm about your collection there, nothing is really a problem. Okay. Good sticking to walls there. Made sure that I wasn't caught out of place. Yeah, that final I was wondering if that was going to be the case. So when this says finishes and charged attacks interrupt regular enemies' attacks, what it says is that it has a mini stun or a stagger attached to it. So it does have the ability to knock people out of their defensive stances as well. Great. So especially if we just attack constantly with this weapon against one enemy, unless the enemy has a real high speed attack, we should just be able to kind of perma-lock them. Each greed kill restores 1% max health. Love it. %2 of max health per kill is pretty good. 50 kills gets you back to full health. We'll drop gold offerings, removing 5 corruption at this point, I think. Keep my 150 max HP. Now, I am still going to open against the skull with that attack. Specifically because freak that skull. Alright, great. And we got those in green kills as well. Got back a solid 6% of our max health there. That's really annoying. Come on. Yeah, you're not gonna hit me with that. And that's 50% melee as well as... I mean, I do just want the parry frames, frankly. I'm not really going to be using... especially with 2 other weapons that are both cursed. I'm definitely not really going to be using my dagger that often. Alright. Hey! Plus 2% to base damage per 1,000 gold, carried up to a max stack of 10. So we're going to have a plus 40% over 2 relics after this boss. Yeah, unfortunately, after you do the heavy attack here, this is what I've been trying to figure out. After you do the heavy attack with this weapon, you're frozen in place for like a solid second or 2. So while you are incentivized to do it up close and personal so that you can actually get more of the bullets to hit your enemies, you're also not, because then you're just a sitting duck for a little bit, unfortunately. All right. Let's go for another relic, possibly a good old 6% per 100,000, 6% per 1,000 gold rather. Shadow Word, concealed enemies. I hate Shadow Word. Shadow Word's so bad. Okay, we need to light up every sconce we come across, frankly. Yeah. I wasn't actually trying to charge that attack. I was trying to use a different charged heavy weapon attack, and then I realized, wait a second, all of the charged attacks for this weapon are going to be that, rather than the leap at all. In fact, yeah, that's not even going to be able to... Wait, hang on, no, we can just swipe it down. I actually imagine I know the reason for that. Which is that this weapon, being a heavy weapon, by base usually would open up passages like this on its charged attack. However, it doesn't have a charged attack that does that, so it just made it capable of doing it on every swing. Any healing that exceeds maximum health is turned into gold. That would be good if we got it a lot earlier on and still had the healing effects that we have, but I don't feel like we're going to spend a huge amount of time on max HP. And so I'm going to immediately go and confirm that that is going to be the case by taking some damage there. That was, of course, not a mistake. I'm making a point. I definitely didn't make a mistake. Alright, maybe I just go back to Zbeltsalottl's weapon for a while. Zbeltsalok? Zbeltsalok, yeah. Alright. Get him! Awesome. Pretty easy room right there. Consumes 50% of max health when taking a fatal blow. Plus 6% of damage. There we go. We found it. Let's replace... honestly, let's replace 3 constitution, right? So after this boss fight, we will have a... I mean, assuming we win this boss fight, by the way. I'm not great at this boss fight, and, yeah, this enemy can be pretty mean. Last time I kind of cheesed them out with ranged attacks. Didn't actually understand that a second attack was coming through there. I, rolled too early to get out of the second attack that time. And too early again the second time. I fear I am 1 hit away from death at this point. Okay, get the heck away. No, run. Keep running. Oh, I am definitely 1 hit away from dead at this point. Yeah. Just rolled too early on the second slice. Dang. You know what? I think, to round out the episode at this point, that was all coming together. It was just we had too little HP by the time we went to there. And that was largely because I was still trying to discover what the witch's staff was doing. And so I took a lot of damage while I was trying to familiarize myself with that weapon. But now, we're familiar with that weapon, so that's not something that we have to do again in the future. But in order to round out the episode at this point, I think I'm also going to do Fear Old Nightmare, the short exploration challenge here. You lose all sense of direction, you fear permanent hallucinations and infected hosts, and you have to escape from your worst nightmare. So I'm assuming this just means that we have a lot of curses. Right? We don't get to choose our path. We have a lot of curses. We have visions of madness is one of them. Because it's all about hallucinations when you get hit. Oh, actually, that's just active at all times. So I cannot see my HUD. I also appear to be moving slightly faster? Oh god, and the cadaverous infestation is active on allies as well. Alright, hang on. Plus 30% to critical damage, nice. But yeah, all my enemies are going to be summoning these bats. I really don't like that. Is there any weapon in particular that I should be keen to utilize if a lot of enemies are bats? I mean, none come to mind immediately for me, but I'm certain they exist. Weapons with wide sweeps, maybe? But that's basically just saying any heavy weapon. Weapons with piercing? No, they're not going to be on the same line for piercing stuff. Also, it appears like my blessings are still here. Okay, so you can customize your blessings to the challenge. That's good. Because some of these challenges, I imagine, would be things like, you know, you no longer gain any gold. And then suddenly having a bunch of blessings that are about gaining and multiplying the amount of gold that you gain. suddenly feels useless. Oh. Okay, I'm not in battle at the moment, so I'm not wearing down my greed timer. Charged attacks hit 3 times instead of 2. I mean, is this it? Is this the incentive I needed? Because doing spin attacks with this weapon is AoE damage as well. Alright. Let's just get our extra collectibles. Charged Pike again. Wind Fury Pike is what it's called, actually. Sorry. Could have sworn it was called the Charged Pike. Well, I guess it is about charged attacks. That's probably what I'm running off of there. Okay. Just needed some time there to get my stamina back. Nope. Come on. Perfect. Bank them on the behind on their way out. Okay. It appears like my greed kill damage has gotten to the point that I can kill a Death Wife in a normal combo right now, which is extremely exciting. It's very, very, very atypical. The fact that you can't kill them in a single combo is actually like a huge part of the reason that they're difficult. Because it means you have to reposition, they have to reposition, you have to spend a lot of extra time before they die. Okay. I really don't like any of these, actually. I'm gonna reroll. Plus 20% if your main weapon is a sword. Extra damage against poisoned enemies, but it doesn't poison enemies itself, and it only does the perfect shot. No. Reroll again, I think. Alright, we'll use the Serpent Blade for the kill. It has extra damage because the base weapon's a sword. It also has plus 20% to its critical damage, and also we have another plus 30% to critical damage. Yeah. It just should be good enough. I don't want to reroll with all of the other Divine Favor that I have and then not get anything that I can use. This is probably the last room before the boss, if I had to guess. Of course, I cannot see any sort of map. Okay. I also can't see any enemy HP values. Honestly? The weirdest thing about that is I didn't realize it until now. Can you normally see enemy HP values? I think you can normally see enemy HP values. If you're wondering whether or not the bats are going to help us do things like remove corruption for each enemy killed or gain max health for each enemy killed, no, they don't count as enemies for the sake of that. Otherwise, I would love getting this. Oh my god. Imagine if they did that and also if they incremented your greed counter. Oh my god, oh my god. Okay, we have an extra room. One beyond which that I was accounting for. Okay, quickly collect that. Go down to this corner and See if there's another there. Great, so now we only have one bat in this room. And instantly killed it. Lovely. Alright. No! I wasn't pointing it out yet, but we perfected every room and every enemy up until that point. I wasn't going to point it out until, possibly, we killed the champion without taking damage. Dang. Yeah, I'll take the extra max health and gold, fine, sure. And then I'm almost certain at this point it's champion time. Dark Swiftness. Nope, seems to be enemy room. Seems to be a goal, sorry, a weapon challenge, in fact. Ow, bad roll on my part there. Get him. Just keep interrupting the Deadeye. Do not let them fire. Plus 30% damage in the darkness. Extra damage against burning enemies and poisoned enemies. No. Plus 20% critical damage as well as plus 1 per base point of dex of perception. I have 5 points of perception. That's 5% extra damage on that. Actually, this one's way better. Plus 30% damage against elite champions and bosses. Plus 10% base damage and fire attacks. We'll take the Jaguar bow. Alright, champ. He's definitely the champ now. What is... Can I... Is this a, like, longer than normal area, or am I just not counting these rooms right? I do tend to think of, like... Sometimes I go through 1 room's worth of combat, and I'm like, wow, that must have been 5 rooms right there, and it's not. It was 1 room's worth of combat, so... That might be the case here as well. I'm gonna let the greed timer go out and take this. I don't know what benefit it could possibly give me, but I'll do it. Because the next room is definitely the champion room, as I've been saying for a bunch of rooms now. Oh. Really thought that was going to be enough. Okay, then this one. Actually, this one's empty. You die now. It's empty too. Don't really love the rolling change. But I'll deal with it if I have to. Great. And should not have. Hey, you know what? I'm actually just gonna light that up and see if that gets any damage in. Perfect. Relic is extra damage from maces, of which I have none. Plus 30% to critical damage. I'll reroll. No, plus 45% to critical damage seems a lot better than that. I'll take that. And it is critical damage when I perfect shot with the bow as well. That's another reason to use the bow over any of the other weapons. Because I can't guarantee critical damage on anything except for a bow. Really? A Haven. Alright. I'm gonna assume that's put me back on max health there. Let's get him. Give him, frankly, all the business I can find. What? Huh? Okay. Almost ended up out of stamina there. Did not love that. Specifically, not restoring any stamina with perfect rolls is actually really annoying against this champion. Because usually, getting back stamina as you roll out of those attacks is a huge part of how you fight them. That is to say, as you roll out of their ranged attacks. Awesome. 6 perfect rooms at the very start with no damage taken. No extra damage taken in darkness. I had to restore 93 health overall and took 75 damage to lurkers. And so that means, you know, 18 damage to something else over the course of the entire first floor. I know it's only the first floor, but I feel pretty good about that. Feel pretty damn good about it, in fact. For the moment. My name has been Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Curse of the Dead Gods. There's a playlist in the description down below with all of my content on this game, past, present, and future, and hopefully we'll see you next time.